Hi, welcome back to HATV. I'm Ann Malkmus.
And I'm Paul Malkmus.
And today we're going to talk about an incredible machine that we own and we use, and does it have some wonderful options to it.
Today we're talking about the Green Star Elite, and we love this machine. Though we have the other types of juicers at the house, we prefer this one, and there's many reasons why. We're going to share some of those with you today.
First, we want to give you an idea of what this machine looks like, the way in which it's put together, and how easy it is to take apart.
As when you unbox the Green Star Elite, it comes looking just like this, and it's already assembled to some extent. And this is such a neat design, though. It just looks so sleek and it looks so clean, and we really like the way that this looks on our countertop. We actually leave it on our countertop all the time. But you take the little body molding off, and it comes apart so easily. You just have two knobs that flip over, and you pop that off, and it has the gears inside, and that's the way it comes. And so it really is a neat piece of equipment that comes apart real easy when you first get it.
Now, the primary reason that we buy one of these is because we believe in juicing. However, what you'll see very shortly is that there are a lot of different options that you can use this machine for, including baby food and sorbets and nut butters and ice creams, just to name a few. Even breadsticks, believe it or not.
It's not just a juicer. It's one of those all-around appliances that you can use in your kitchen. And as you mentioned, what comes with it are all the different attachments. And part of the process is having an operations or an owner's manual that goes through and tells you how to use every piece. And this definitely does that. It tells you how to put the different attachments in there and what their uses are, as well as some recipes. And you talked about like the breadsticks and pretzels. It even teaches you how to make the pretzels and breadsticks there. But some of the pieces that come with this, of course, is the juicing screen. So this is the fine screen that we would use for juicing. And we use this almost any time we're doing juice and we want to get all or as much of the pulp out as we can, we use this screen.
And along with that, the way in which we extract the juice is we actually are taking the vegetable and we're pushing the juice out. We're just pushing it with these little guys here.
It's pressing.
Pressing. And that's probably one of the more optimal ways in order for us to get the juice extracted from the vegetable.
Right. It does it at such a slow speed, about 110 RPMs, and so there's not a lot of oxygen, and there's no heat that comes in contact with it. And both the heat and the oxygen kill the enzymes in the juice. And so this juicer is really efficient in maintaining those enzyme levels. Now the next screen that comes with it has a few more holes in it, or the holes are bigger, I would say. And this is if you want a little bit of pulp in your juice. And we here at Howie Acres teach really to remove all of the pulp, so we don't use this one too much, but that's the purpose of this one. So if you want more pulp in the juice, this is the screen to use. Now the next one is what they call a homogenizing blank or screen, and it has a big hole in it, though the rest of it is solid. And what we do with this is we use this anytime we're making nut butters or baby foods, and it causes the whatever we put in there to be broken down with the gears, and then it forces it right out through the bottom. And we'll be demonstrating this a little bit later in this demonstration. And then we have a complete blank, and we use this complete blank when we're making ice creams or the breadsticks or the pretzels that we were talking about. And we'll demonstrate this later as well. Also in this is a screen, and we find it real important to strain our juice even after we put it through a juicer.
Yeah, even though this is a very fine screen, you'll note that even after that you'll have pulp that still remains, so you would want to screen your juice every time. And that's what this is for, strain it, I mean.
Strain it.
Yes.
So that works really well. It also comes with a cover that goes on top. And this is if you're storing your, in between uses, you can put this on top and it keeps the dust from getting into your juicer. And really, really beneficial there.
We don't use that because we juice all the time, so we don't need to store this.
It has what they call a juicing knob. Otherwise, in previous models, it was called an outlet adjusting knob. And you use this depending on what type of produce you're using. If you're using a really hard produce or juicing like a carrot, you'd want it in tight. And if you're juicing something that was soft, like a lot of apples, you'd want to loosen it up, cucumbers, those types of things. And as we juice later, we'll demonstrate how this works. It also has another knob that comes with it for that you use with this complete blank for making your ice cream. And so it makes it to where that ice cream comes out really nice and almost like a soft serve ice cream. So it's really beneficial in making ice cream. It'll be fun making ice cream a little later
It'll be
on.
kind of interesting.
Yeah. Lots of pieces in this, isn't there?
There are.
It has a drip tray that we put underneath, and it helps to keep the juice or the countertop clean as we're juicing. And ourselves, we don't use this because we make a mess and we clean it up. But for some people, if you don't want to make a mess, you can use the drip tray here with it. Now, this is probably one of the neatest things that I like about this juicer, is that it has a power cord that detaches from the unit. And so when you're done juicing, you just take the cord, disconnect it from the back, and you can just put it in a drawer. And so you don't have this cord laying on your counter. And so I like the way that the cord connects and disconnects in this.
When they made this new version, that was one of the best, I think, that they changed from the old version.
Yeah, I agree. It used to fold up underneath, and it was quite difficult to manage. I think it's one of the only juicers I've seen that does that.
I agree with
that.
that.
Does that.
Yeah.
It has a wooden plunger that you use to push the produce down through the chute. It also has a plastic plunger that does the same thing, and you'll notice that there are arrows on the plastic plunger, and we always want that arrow pushing away from us when we're doing juicing through this. And the reason for that is it's made to clear the gears.
Oh, right.
And so otherwise it'll start to tear up the plastic plunger a little bit if you do it backwards. It doesn't hurt anything, it just kind of chews up the plunger. This is a nice brush.
It's a great toothbrush, isn't it?
It is a great toothbrush. And we use this toothbrush, you got me saying it now. If I can get it out of here. But we use this toothbrush for getting in and cleaning out the screen. And so it cleans out the inside of the screen really nice. And it's so important to keep the screen clean because this is what allows the juice to flow through. And if the screen gets dirty or caked up, then it's not as efficient in getting juice out.
Also, it has, way at the bottom, it has some small bristles and it gets into these little crevices down here beautifully. And what we do is while it's wet, just after we've completed juicing, we'll take this brush and we'll just brush through this rapidly right away. It doesn't take long, but it will remove this so that it'll stay quite clean as long as you continue to do this.
And then it has just another little brush in here that you can use just for cleaning things, and it's a handy little brush to have.
This is pretty amazing. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Comes with a collection container, and this is what the juice goes into. So it comes with almost everything that you would want. And you'd say, okay, how does all this work and come together? Because I could see this being confusing. We've got a pile of stuff here.
We have. We like to make messes.
We do like to make messes. Well, as we put the juicer together, we'll show you how these come apart and go together. Now, you'll notice that when we put the gears in, these are the twin gears that we were talking about earlier, they actually have magnets in them. These magnets create a negative ion charge on the juice and actually make the nutrients a little more bioavailable. But in one gear, you'll see where there's one magnet, and the other one there's two. And you want to line those magnets up within each other so that they're lined up and connected together. Then we want to take and put the gears in here, and when we put them in, we just want to turn the gears just a little bit till they seat in there right. And there we go.
And you hear it lock.
And you can hear it lock. Then we put the screen on, and the screen we put on is determined by what we're trying to do. So if we're doing juicing, we would put the fine screen on, and it just simply rolls over the top. If we want to make the baby food, we take the homogenizing blank, and we would just slide that over the top. Or if we wanted to make ice cream or the breadsticks, we would put the complete blank over the top. So it's quite easy just to put on and replace. And this is the coarse screen. The one that would be, if we wanted more pulp in our juice, we'd just slide over the top. For our purposes, at this one, we're just going to put the fine screen back in for making juice. Then we'll put on the rest of the housing here, and we just kind of clamp it in place.
And that is so much easier with this new one. That clamping in place made it so much quicker. It was wonderful. I love the changes they made to this.
It really is. It makes it so nice and easy here. Then you put the top on. And then you put on your juicing knob, because because we're doing juicing, we just put on our juicing knob. And then you would tighten it up based on what you're trying to do. We're going to be doing some carrots and celery, and most of what we're doing, we would just tighten it up all the way. And we typically put it all the way tight unless we start having things back up, and we'll demonstrate that here in a little while. Now, at home, it's like, what do you do with all these things, and how do you have them accessible? And at home, we have a drawer that all of these types of things just go into. And so we put them in the drawer, we put the extra pieces in there, and then we're always able just to pull them out, and we know where they're all at.
Works very well. And it's not far from the location that we actually juice.
Right. Anything else about the juicer that we've left out?
I think we should just juice.
You think we should juice?
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll be back in just a minute, and we'll do some juicing for you. All right, we're back here, and we're ready to do some juicing. Now, you know, we do juicing at home, and we make it a couple affair, and if you have children at home, make it a family affair. We really enjoy doing our juicing together. We split up the duties, as you'd say, and we don't look at it as work. We look at it as good time where we're interacting and we're spending time together. And so instead of sitting and watching the TV for a while or the boob tube, we sit and talk as we're juicing. And so, you know, like typically, Ann preps the vegetables and I'm getting the unit together, and then I start juicing while she finishes prepping, and then she starts cleaning up, and before you know it, juice is all done, and then one of us puts it away, while the juice away, and stores the juice while the other one is cleaning the machine. So it really works out well. So we have our Green Star Elite together, we have our produce, and this is such a beautiful array of produce, isn't it?
Oh, I love it.
That's what I love about the Howley diet. It always looks so vibrant. It's so much
colorful.
fun. And we had put our screen, our fine screen in there, and so we're all ready to go. We'll turn it on. It has an on-off switch as well as a forward and reverse, but we put it in the forward position. And we'll just start juicing some greens here. And I usually take them and roll them up just a little bit to get them started in there. And you can just see how it just starts to pull it on through. And sometimes it needs just a little assistance going down in there. And that's one of the nice things about this Green Star Elite. It seems to just pull the greens down in there. It does a really nice job with pulling the greens in.
What did you do with your knob with your greens?
I still have that nice and tight.
Okay.
And we'll use to push it on through. We want to leave it tight as much as we can so that as much juice gets squeezed out as possible.
Okay.
And we want very little juice to come into the pulp side of things.
I noticed you put your stems in there. Any problems with the stems going through?
No, the stems do great.
Okay.
The stems are great in there. And you can see where the juice is coming out the bottom, and the pulp will start coming out here in the end. Now there's not as much pulp in the greens, and so when we do carrots and celery, you'll see the pulp coming out much faster. And you know, this is kind of the way that we do it at home. We use the collards as we just did. We also do a lot of kale, and sometimes I'll rip the kale off and put it down in there, and really it's just finding the way that works the best for you. You can try it one way, and if it doesn't work right, just put it in another. And then after I get down with the kale to a certain length, I just put the stem in. I find if I try to put the whole stalk in at one time, that sometimes it's a little more difficult to get it pushed through. And anytime it gets a little bound up in there, you just push it on in there, and it works just great.
It takes a lot more greens to make juice than it does carrots. So don't be surprised if you look at that and say, golly, I went through a lot of greens just for that amount of juice. It's not a problem.
The greens are such wonderful feeders of the body, though. And they're so nutritious. In fact, what are the most nutritious greens that we use, Ann?
Well, the most nutritious greens that you can use are collard, kale, and believe it or not, bok choy. So those are the three that we use as often as we can to get into our diet. Mostly through juicing, but we've also used them in salads as well.
And so we put in some other greens here. You're fast. I guess I'm the slow one this morning, huh?
Prepping isn't hard. Juicing isn't hard either.
Juicing is, none of it's hard. It just takes a little time. And what we usually do is we juice on Sunday and Wednesday, and because with the Green Star, you can store the juice, and it stores the juice so great. The quality of the juice is really good, and even 3 days later, you have good quality juice. So we store it for about 3 days.
Pretty dry. The pulp that you get out of this is quite dry. That's the idea, so that you can have the majority of the juice is going to be extracted from it, and all you have left is the dry pulp.
So, you can do celery. It does a great job with celery. Some of the other juicers, when you try to put celery in, it'll get wrapped around it, the strands will. And those other juicers, you sometimes have to cut the celery. This just slides on in.
Pretty easy, really. In terms of prep, I make the cucumbers a little thinner, and I make the apples a little thinner, but only because your shoot is rather narrow. So you want to make sure it gets into the shoot. How hard is it to take a carrot and push it down?
It's not real hard.
Okay.
And if you don't have the strength to do it, try pulling it closer to your body and getting elevated up a little bit more, so you're not reaching up in the air, but you're able to do it right at a low.
So go on a step stool type of thing.
But because the gears are moving at such a slow speed, it does require a little pressure to push the carrots on through. So we've put some greens in now, and we've put celery and carrots, and let's do some cucumbers. And it's so neat doing the variety of juice like this.
Do you need to change this at all for those?
I'm not going to change it until it starts backing up a little bit.
Is that why? Okay.
Yep. As long as it'll keep moving through, then I'll leave it the same. And what I do sometimes, so that I don't have to change the outlet adjusting knob, because when I change that, a little bit more of the juice is coming out in the pulp.
Yeah.
So if it starts backing up, I'll just run another carrot through there.
Oh,
and that'll just push it on out.
Okay.
Because you really want to get as much of the juice out as possible.
I agree.
So we're putting some apples. Now, we're mixing our fruits and our vegetables with this, Ann. How does that work?
What we have found is that Granny Smith apples in particular, but apples in general, we don't have any problems mixing those with the juice from the vegetables. Those would be the only type of fruit that we have found to be beneficial for us without any problems. So, and the Granny Smith are not very high in sugar. They just add a different flavor with it. And you may choose to use a completely different variety of fruits and vegetables, but the Granny Smith is the fruit of our choice.
Now, we've just been juicing a few minutes, and you will be amazed at how much juice we already have.
Look at that.
Now, we talked about how we always strain our juice, and while it comes with a strainer, we prefer to use, at our house, a strainer. We have a really fine screen strainer that kind of allows it to pour in a little bit easier. And so we use this one, but if you don't have one like this at home, then by all means use the one that comes with it.
Oh, sure. And you can get these at Walmart. They're not that expensive, and we sell nice strainers like this as well.
And sometimes we need a spoon.
Yeah, that'll work.
That'll work. And just to help get all that juice through there. And you can see how there's still pulp in there, which is what's preventing the juice from coming all the way through. And with this, we've done a variety of vegetables here, but play around with it. Put some beet in there. We like beet in our juices at home.
Ginger.
Ginger makes it really nice. If you like things a little hot, put a little jalapeno in there.
A little cilantro, parsley.
All those things. Just experiment with the juice, because it's really neat. If green isn't your favorite color, a little bit of beet would change this in a hurry. Would change its color.
Oh yes. Just don't add a lot of beet.
Beet is a detoxer of the liver, and so
a little beet goes a long way.
And you say, okay, I went through the juicing, and why are you straining it? And here's a really good example of why we strain it.
That's right.
Because out of this thing of juice that we have here, we have this much pulp. There's quite a bit of pulp left there.
And we use the finest of the screen. Even still, you'll still have that.
You still have some pulp.
May I take that for you?
Sure.
Okay. Are you going to pour that?
I can pour that.
Okay.
And because we've juiced a great amount, you know, we're only going to drink so much ourselves, so we can store some for later. And so we use mason jars, 8-ounce mason jars, and we fill it all the way to the top because we don't want any oxygen in there. And then we put a top on. Now this one, we like to use the plastic lids at home, but we don't have that here, so we just put the top on like that, and we would put this in the refrigerator and store it for later and have our juice.
That's right. So, enjoy your juice.
Yes. It tastes wonderful. Give it a try. Create your own variety. And we'll be back in a couple minutes. What are we going to make next?
Baby food.
We're going to make some baby food next.